Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to the iGPFun Formula 3 Season 3 here at Watkins Glen, presented by Virtual Racing School. I'm Austin. I'm joined by Marco Barbanera, and you're here watching Apex Racing TV.
Oh man, Austin, it's so great to be back. I know we had 12 weeks of racing and the special Week 13 event, but still, I mean, it's always great. The feeling you get for round one, it is absolutely unmatched. And here in the iGPFun Championship, one word, a few things are true in this day and age, but one of them is that the iGPFun, it is indeed very, very fun. And Watkins Glen, I mean, perfect place to start the season. These cars are, lovely around this track. We are using the inner loop, so that's going to be a big contention spot all throughout the day. But as we have seen last night in the Academy F3 Championship, it was absolutely fantastic fight for the win. And one of those drivers there that fought for the win is not on the track, but it's QT Marteau, and he's back with us tonight and leading qualifying Austin with a couple of minutes left. So a new season begins, and I mean, it's going to be great.
A new season begins at probably one of the best tracks. You have some close quarters racing and a little chance to get those elbows out, as I must say. Watkins Glen, very classic American track, very flat out. With these F3 cars so light and so planted to the ground, you can really haul these things around here without having to lift. And these things give off a little bit of a draft, so we're going to be seeing a lot of trains heading from turn one all the way up into the S's and throughout the entire boot, because this place really rocks and rolls, and it's going to be so fun to see on how everyone's doing. And I can guarantee to you that all these qualifying times have been done in the draft. This is an open qualifying, and the draft is king here.
Exactly, you want a good draft, and then you don't want anyone blocking your path here at the inner loop. And we've seen, of course, in the race, it's a place where you can absolutely make mistakes, and of course, taking it a bit too hard, you risk getting pushed towards that barrier on the left side, driver's side on the left. So it's going to be a tough spot, and we've seen last night these cars can race side by side, and you can move around the outside there, especially if you really want, if you are brave enough. It is a possibility. We have 37 drivers, most of them returning from the past years, of course. A couple of new faces I can see. Nice to have Luca back for the beginning of the season. And, regrettably, Luca was talking about the iRacing forum, which is split. I think will be split until the 23rd. So it's a bit of a problem trying to relay the communications between both sides of it. So
it's like telling people to use the new UI to the old website, and it's just getting those people. I remember when they did that official switch, and we in the broadcasting world, none of us knew how to do it, and so we had that little stuff. So it's gonna take a while for our numbers to get back up to the 60s. But right now we got a lot of people in here, and I'm very excited to see on how everyone's going to be tackling this first round. Looking at qualifying, first all the way down to 36 are separated by only 2.2 seconds. Thank you.
Exactly, and the top I think, let's say top 20 is in 1 second.
1 second. This is just insane.
And we are, of course, as you can see, as I was saying, you're racing on the long version of the racetrack. So, I mean, the short version, I love it because it works basically like one of those road course ovals, as I like to call them, no?
But you mean the Robles?
No, it's a road course that works like an oval.
All right. You know, it's not a roval technically, but yeah. Oh, that's a nasty wreck for. Wait, Matsuis is in chat. I'm gonna wait for him to help with the pronunciation before I even attempt that.
It's Pieniążek, of course.
Thank you.
You know, as opposed to a road course oval, you know, which is like the old Rio de Janeiro oval, which was an oval that behaved like a road course.
Yes, and if you, well, yeah, I was looking back at the old Rio course the other day, and yeah, that oval was scary. It had elevation change in it. Name another oval that you know that has elevation change.
I mean, North Wilkesboro has a slight elevation change, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, a slight one. This one was on a mountain.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, incredible racetrack, and in his autobiography, Alex Zanardi basically said that the track was promised because 96, when he came over to the USA, it was the first season that they were using that oval in Rio, and they couldn't test there, of course, and they were saying, the organizer said the track is perfect, it's beautiful, and then they came there and it was basically, you know, like racing on I don't know, on a not very well paved road, let's put it this way. Very rough.
It's like racing on sandpaper. Well, we got our grid up, first grid of the 2021 Season 3 season. Say that 3 times fast. It's QT Marteau started up on pole, followed by Gavin Petty, Max Baratola, followed by Vincenzo Monroe, Ben White, Alex Fournier, Philip Lucas, Antonio Tellez, Stuart Millen, Andy Flint, Max Mueller, and Andrea Brichetti in 12th place. In 13th, it is Luca Verani. After his alien abduction, he is back on the grid, followed by Leonardo O'Cherry, Alex Hopkins, Adam Talisman, Will McIntyre, Sonny Rosario, Joseph Givens, Massimo De Laurentiis, Zachary Beeson, Phil Waller, and Premzal Pienznek, and followed by Nick Carty in 24th, followed by Kuchi Aito, Zoltan Zomotor, Robert Ridgway, Mark Mathis, Kunistan Malisev, followed by Patrick Rowlands, Roberto Maratarana, and Russell Kirkwood, followed by Martin Devine, Frederick Larson, Reed Dennis, and Dennis Wolf, and Daniel Souza at the end of our 37-car grid here at the lovely Watkins Glen, going from all the way from the starting line all the way to the exit of the final corner. We got ourselves a packed grid here at one of my at the American Temple of Speed, Watkins Glen, and it's time to get ready for those 5 special lights.
Here they come.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's go, go, go here at the Glen. A lot of smoke popping up for a few cars around the track. QT Bartow gets a good start right there. And another good start. And Gavin Petty around to the outside. Max Baratola lagging around just a little bit, but a very clean start. Ben White gets a stormer of a start as well off the line, but it's a very clean start for the top 3 right now as they head into the SS for lap 1.
Yeah, everyone.
iGPFun rules.
Yeah, look, they are almost not pushing. Almost at a leisurely pace, and I think it will be game on from the backstretch onwards, which is right now.
Yeah, as per iGPFun rules, no going 3 wide at the start. You can take a look down there, but no real big sense. But look at this. It looks like a car park right now. And side by side through the S's, the 50 and the 3 of Andrea Brichetti and Alex Hopkins battling out right there.
And they all survive the first tough spot of the lap, Austin. They all go through the first choke point, the inner loop, very, very well. And now they get into the extension, into the boot, which was opened a few years after the main racetrack here at the Glen.
Yeah, the boot, probably one of my favorite parts of the track. Gives you a lot of opportunities. Monroe looking down to the inside of White, sitting on that apex as they hit into the heel of the boot and heading up to probably the most trickiest corner out of all. This is the most low grip corner. It's off camber. You're going uphill or going over a crest, and it's so bumpy right there that any that any opportunity right there, you will lose control of your car, and it is so tough to get it right.
The top 3 most slippery pieces of tarmac in the world, of course, at least in the racing world. Ascari, the left-hander at Red Bull Ring, and the corner that brings you back to the short layout here at the Glen. Incredible stuff.
Oh! Hopkins is around. And in the wall. Tough break for Alex Hopkins. That front wing, that front wing, that front wheel, the other front wheel, the rear wing, and that engine cover is missing. Yeah, it's seen better days.
Yeah.
Fournier on white. Ooh, Fournier looked onto the inside of white, but they go on for another round in the Glen. I was gonna say in the bend, but it's a long track.
I think Gavin Petty, by the way, iRacing needs to fix this bug because these cars seemed like they went through a garbage compressor after one lap. Look at the nose of this car, and you can see Gavin went a bit wide there, lost a bit of time. QT2 actually, Austin has already 1.7 seconds, and now Bartolotta takes advantage of another mistake from Petty and also
Petty is I think Petty's just got extremely loose off the exit right there.
And now there's quite the queue forming up behind him with Ben White, Alex Fournier, and Phil Lucas, and I think also no, Max Müller and then Stuart Milner in the other group. As I think problem for our favorite Polish driver today in the field, Pieniążek is around. I say he's my favorite Polish driver in the field because he's the only one, right?
Yes, that does narrow it down.
So, time to do some damage limitations for Petty, and now he's been helped because Fournier is trying to attack Ben White and also Philip Lucas. Let's jump on board with Philip and see what we see.
Heading into the S is just sitting behind everybody right now, but he gets a great run. 1 and almost 2 on the carousel right there. Just shot it up the inside of Alex Fournier, but Fournier's on the outside right now. And Lucas is pretty much cornered. Here comes Fournier back down to the inside. You can hold it around to the outside. Heading into the boot, if you get a good enough exit, Fournier is still back there, and he's been able to do it. Philip Lucas now in 6th place, charging on Ben White as they head out through the toe. And this is a big train we got. We got Lucas Fournier, Millen, Mueller, and Veroni, and that packing up ahead. Bertolotta and Vincent Vinny Moreau are battling with each other as well, as they're all fanning out as they're getting a good approach to get back onto the main circuit.
I am afraid we had some major drama in the back of the field.
Well, you know what YouTube's for all that drama. Almost 3 wide. Oh, they are 3 wide heading into the bus stop. And oh, that is some net code for Will McIntyre, the Britain and Austrian right there. And a lot of cars taking, well, Kevin Magnussen-esque lines through the grass.
You know, I thought seeing that he crashed and all the other people going off the road that there was a major drama, but in reality it was just people very smartly avoiding the wreck.
Yeah, it was very smart incidents of people using the non-existent runoff as runoff. And I'm guessing that is the one defense that why France is paid like that. And also to destroy tires. And oh, we got a car of the grass up ahead coming out of the S's.
Yeah, trying to find out. I think it was Antonio Jimenez. He went a bit wide. Also, Phil Waller is going a bit wide as well.
Yeah, Waller having a little bit of difficulty with the rear end right there. All these cars coming out of the carousel right now. This is insane, and this is the lower half of the field right now, and this is what makes iGPFun so fun. Everywhere you see, you're going to see some of the most intense battling like it's lap 1 every single lap. Everyone here at the top of their game, and everyone here loves to race cleanly and have some fun right now. Nose-to-tail racing, either if that car is in front of you, beside you, or oh, we got 2 cars off in the heel.
And so again, Premislav and Malishev, both of them are off. Second off of the day for. Look at this!
This looks like a marathon. What is this? This ain't a bike race?
Yeah, like Moto3 style. No one can run away. Oh, and they're moving left and right and center. Patrick Rowlands, they're moving, trying to find an inch of. See, I used the freedom units there of free real estate there, but easier said than done. And now, oh no!
Oh, 2 more cars are off. Rollins and Souza is off in turn 1, and I gotta say, this is actually looking a lot like the Clio Cup.
Oh, Luca Marani's off.
He's to the wall. Now, Luca did give us a little bit of a warning before the race that the tires do go about halfway through the race, so we're with all the draft that we're seeing and the track temperature, I'm not surprised that we're seeing a lot of people make these mistakes right now. They're in the draft, they're using their tires a lot more. They probably overheated them already from saving it. Let's run on board of Luca through the S's and get a better understanding of what's happened right here. Let's hit that apex, and oh, car's in the grass, and he went wide just to avoid it, and unfortunately that was just a little bit too wide there for Luca Ferrari.
You know, Austin, I think he was lucky because he caught the tire wall very flat, you know, so he just kissed it.
Just a kiss. Just a kiss.
So his car should be okay. We'll keep an eye on him. By the way, Vincenzo Morrone with the fastest lap of the race last time by, and now Marteau beats him. This time around, barely, 23 1,000ths of a second.
Yeah, extremely narrowly right there for QT Marteau. Defending champion, I believe. Yeah, defending champion, and well, runner away with this race 3 seconds ahead. And now it's really just a fight for second throughout this field, but really the midfield fight here is what iGPFun's all about. You know, if you can navigate your way through this field from the back to the front, you know you got something special going for you. And we've had a few people make up a few spots already. Zolta Zomotor, Robert Meritorana making up a few 6+ places up there. Zachary Beeson making moves as well, and Frederick Larson. And Frederick's in the middle of all that goodness back there.
Ooh, and Bartolotta went past Morrone, a mistake from Morrone. And this has brought Petty back into the fight, so probably a mistake there from the Italian in the number 36. Not to be confused with the Italian in the number 35, which is in front of him.
That's an Italian 2 and 3 right now. Gavin Petty trying to break that one country dominance up there on the podium. If you remember the Italian in the iGPFun Week 13 special event team series, the Wave Italy team really ran away with it.
They absolutely did, and I think, if memory serves me right, this year we'll have the Nations Cup at the end of the season.
Yeah, it'll be the Nations Cup after that. Last time we had the Nations Cup, it was actually at the Glen.
Oh, you're right, absolutely. Yeah.
I remember that very fondly because I stole all the Team USA paints immediately after that broadcast. And oh my goodness, we're shooting the moon. 3 wide here at the Glen, heading into the S's.
Oh, the Italian touch!
There is contact. Bartolotta's off. Gavin Petty chose right to avoid that. Moreau, and coming back off the track, Bartolotta hit the bump, and around he goes. Gotta take this with caution right here. And a very nice flick spin, keeping it onto the inside of the track. That takes skill, you know, to keep that from going wide. But let's take a look at this replay right now. Bartolotta was not going to let this inside line up. It's very tight through there. They both went in on there. And it's just a little bit of a tap, a little bit of Neko tap, just kissed of a wall. Then he hit that just massive rut jump, and well, that just really upset that Delar. And we all know what happens when you just upset a single-seater car. It's so planted to the ground. If you just did one wheel off the floor, it just bounces all over the place, and really doesn't feel good.
And this chaos has got Philip Lucas back in the fight for the podium, and of course to see, especially Petty after his problems earlier, seems to have picked up the pace. But you know, of course, in front of him they are battling hard. Morone and Bartolotto, they were battling hard. Let's see if he's good to go, and of course let's see if Lucas can keep it up. And the Canadian Alex Fournier, I think, in making his debut in the championship, is having a good show.
The name is familiar to me. The name does remind me of somebody
of
that
the
I do know.
former Orlando Magic player. Yes.
Yes.
But
as we got another fight going into there, the Metallica car of Andy Flint swings it around the outside, chops the nose of Max Mueller and Leonardo O'Cherry back there. Max Bartolota having a little, taking that one a little bit easier this time by after getting a little bit of flashbacks. So last time we got another side-by-side fight. Robert Ridgway and Martorana right behind him. The Battle of the Roberts right there. That's Kuti Ido right ahead. And oh, that's McIntyre going slow through. Did he just blast through the chicane? Did he attempt that?
you know, I think possibly you are correct. We are seeing a lot of errors. By the way, weather 32 degrees Celsius, so not the worst of days out there. It's very early. Weather-wise, the drivers have been, oh dear, that's Cherry, I think, going sideways. I think finally sporting a proper livery for this season.
For the Americans in chat, that is 89.6 degrees.
Oh yeah.
Verani and O'Cherry. Yeah, O'Cherry is running a actual livery for once. So, nice. And behind him is Andrea Brichetti, and this is the odd spot to see Brichetti in. We're usually used to seeing them much higher.
Yeah, correct. Let's jump on board with the Italian. He is also sporting that strange buggy damage that we saw last week during the special event.
Okay, I'm going to send you a photo because I do not have this bug, but side by side, O'Cherry sends it down there. And he is picking spots like he is picking cherries right there. Leonardo O'Cherry up in a 10th, and I'm going to go find a window and jump out of it because that was a horrible pun.
It's weird, Austin, because I was doing some testing earlier, and if you refresh the cars, the damage goes away. And then the first bump they hit, it comes back. It's I don't know, but I read all other people complaining about it in the forums. So it's possibly not just the old age, you know, doing some tricks on me, as Ben White defending from Stuart Milne. The two not teammates, I think. Oh dear, this is embarrassing from me. No, not teammates, very similar liveries.
Yeah, extremely similar livery colors, base color. They got the black, they got the light blue. One was a more neon blue. Ben White's team and sponsor prefer that neon blue with the pink highlights in there. It's a lot more chaotic compared to Stuart Millen's right there. And they both got kind of X's, so I can completely understand that right now. And behind him, a big spin, Max Mueller off into the wall, and that's a heavy hit right there for Max.
I was having flashbacks to one of the NASCAR Cup races like 15-20 years ago. They had a massive wreck here. This was thankfully not as big as that, because Max, who unfortunately got some big damage, spun away and wasn't kicked back in the racing line by the barriers. That would have been absolutely huge.
The biggest crash that I know here was not a NASCAR Cup race. It was a lower division NASCAR race where Jimmy Johnson went. His throttle pretty much stuck open and straight into the wall right here, and he jumped out. And that video is easy to find on YouTube.
Yeah, I loved that back then, even on some of the smaller ovals. Oh, Espetti with a problem, a big problem. An arm barrier size problem.
He's hit the grass off the exit of that corner.
The steering is destroyed.
You can see the tire marks. Yeah, you can see the tire marks leading into the wall back there. He's hit the grass off the exit, and it caught the back end and, well, just shot him out into the wall. And we got the replay right now. Heading into the heel. You want to use all the curb, but he just used a little bit too much. Back end got caught, and boom. And that's going to be his race right there. A lot of damage. And another incident in the toe. Frederick Larsen off there.
So Larsen is back on track, and of course, Petty, different story, had to talk back to the pits. Going back to those days when they thought that some like styrofoam barriers were, or whatever the material is, were enough to stop these cars from smashing into the wall. Because if you remember when Jimmy Johnson crashes there, as Cherry pulls the Doc Brown trick there, there's this explosion of white stuff, you know, and it was pretty common back then, especially in the smaller ovals, and of course that one of the Glen. I'm glad we are past those safety measures.
Yeah, so styrofoam was not really a good idea. But, you know, if you haven't seen snow in a while, okay, can we go back to Cherry and his teleporting car? I need to bring this up. He just teleported on my screen, and his wheel flew off of his car.
Ah, perfect.
I know, that's not distracting at all. And I wonder what Lucas sees right now with Cherry blinking in and out like Doc Brown Back to the Future. He's definitely going over 88 miles an hour, so he must just have a flux capacitor just hitting on that car somewhere.
You know, as Morone gets the fastest lap of the race, you know, thankfully for Luca, at the very least now, with the fixes that they have made, you don't run the risk of getting damage, because in the past, the first few weeks / months of the new damage model, if someone lagged and lost a wheel and the wheel hit you, you got the damage. So
I remember that so much, and oh, there goes the wheel.
Thankfully on my screen the wheel is remaining attached. Might be because, you know, of course, he's closer to me than to you.
Closer to server. Luca's actually looking onto the inside of O'Cherry. Luca gets a good run up there. Luca Ferrari up into 8th place, and now O'Cherry actually stays a little bit stable, so we can actually see that move happen. And looking down the field, Zachary Beeson, Antonio Tellez, Massimiliano De Laurentiis, and Jose Givens back. Crazy right now. And ooh, that's a nose cut right there for Antonio Tellez and Massimiliano De Laurentiis. Laurentiis on the outside, and looking down the inside is Givens. And Antonio Tellez really, well, he dodged a bullet right there, went a little bit wide, almost came across the nose of Massimo. And Massimo almost came across the nose of Givens right there off the exit. But Tellez in 14th now. In that beautiful scalper's machine.
We're running out defending from Leonard there for P8. Trying to move forward. In the meantime, I would say Morone getting the fastest lap of the race last time around, but the gap is still comfortably in favor of Bartaux. He's got
yeah, 7 seconds. Unless the tires go away from Marteau, we're approaching that halfway mark where tire life is really going to be a determining factor here, and it's very easy to heat up the tires, so, you know, we're going to see who's the better at being a little bit more smoother on the tires. But Marteau, he's got 8-second gap. I do not see Marteau making a mistake like this. And I just realized I just commentated, cursed him to oblivion.
You know, Austin, it's important to, you know, what you're saying, because, of course, these championship races on the same schedule of the official series, no? Because of course it makes sense.
But it is, but it's actually longer than the official races.
Exactly.
Yes.
So come the end of the race, the last 5, 6, 7 laps, these drivers will be in a situation they've never been before during the week. So that's why tire wear is so important, and managing your rubber especially is really crucial. Now, as we were saying earlier, today the weather seems to play in favor of the drivers but as Luca was saying, as Morone is off.
And that is Moreau. He was running in second right there, and that is a mistake all on their own. They had nobody else by them. Looks like they got into the grass in the braking zone, and then the car shot away. Yep, just had a little bit of a wheel on the grass, and well, unfortunately, you need all those tires to really grip up the track, and when you just have a little bit out there, they can lock up the front and lock up the rear very easily, and around you go. But yeah, longer than the original schedule. 8 laps longer here than at the original 20 laps scheduled. As we got another incident. This is De Laurentiis.
I think he crashed with Antonio. Yes.
Oh, that is just a misjudgment of braking point right there. And if you're interested in where we're going this season, and if you new to iRacing and don't have the season, or if you want to get into the season, this is where we're going. We start off at the Glen. Next week we're going to be at Long Beach in that beautiful street circuit over there in California. Then we're heading over to Japan for the Suzuka Grand Prix course, followed by Hockenheim. Then we're going to go to Alton Park again. We were there last year. We're going back there this year. Last season. I keep saying years as like these are separate, but last season. But we're going back to Alton Park. Then we're heading to Spa with the classic pit layout. So you definitely do not want to make a pit stop during then. Followed by Phillip Island, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Zandvoort, Imola, the Red Bull Ring, and we're finishing our season at Silverstone. Now those last few circuits are very big. And speaking of big, that's a big hit for Brachetti into the wall out of turn 1, and we're seeing those tires go.
Especially, coming out of 1, you can really, it's a much wider corner and longer corner, and Morone!
Oh, big incident! Monroe came across the track right there after a big hit and right into the driving line of Ben White, who sent that car into the air, and that is a massive incident. Let's take a look at Ben White right now. You can see that incident right ahead. He gets off the throttle, just tries to sneak it up onto the inside, and that car just got ripped to shreds. Oh my goodness.
Well, from bad to worse for Morone. Another one of the drivers victim of the second place curse today. If you are in second, you are not going to be there long. And
it's like the Penske curse right now.
They cannot win.
Yeah. I know I said no spoilers to the IndyCar race, but I'll be quiet.
And so now
you watch those final 10 laps.
Austin.
But yeah, that crash really looked like a 1-to-1 of Mike Harmon's crash at Bristol.
Oh yeah,
back in the day.
And look at this, Alex Fournier up into 3rd place from his 6th place starting position. And if this is his debut, which I think it is, it's the
first time I'm seeing his name here.
He's about to grab a debut podium, which is in a field made up of 37 cars. Easier said than done, Austin. And Luca Varani also trying to complete his comeback, pushing hard to get into the top 5, but now he has a very tough cookie in the figure of Andy Flint in his mastered power car of the Scuderia Metallica.
Yeah, you can see the names of the drivers right there. Adam Talisman, Andy Flint, and Zoltan Zomotor, and I love what they did with the first to last names, but Zoltan Zomotors is just a lightning bolt.
Are you using the paint pack or are you using trading paints, Austin?
I am using trading paints, but the trade. It's the same Metallica car.
Yeah, but on the paint pack there is no Zoltan on the car, so.
Jeez, Andy, why do you gotta embarrass me like this? I thought we were
especially because the new policy has kicked in this week that every broadcast, even official series, is going to be done via paint pack. So, I mean, that should be a fine for you, Austin.
Hey, no, I'm not the one broadcasting these.
But this answers a question I was asking last week when we did the special event, because Zoltan was racing as a Metallica teammate on trading paints. He had the livery, of course, because we used trading paints last time ever in that race. So I was wondering, is he joining the team permanently? And the answer is yes, as Luca goes by into 5th. Oh, look who's coming back there. It's Max Bartolotta.
Yeah, Bartolotta, he just hit the wall slightly. I don't really think he has that much suspension difference, as if any. It was a side-to-side hit, where both wheels hit at the same time, so they might be bent in a little bit, and the car might be handling a little bit weird, but I do not see any crapping or anything happening with that car, so he might be fine.
Trying to catch back to Flint, which I think will be possible. We have a little bit more than 10 laps left in this race. So this little pack that we have here, which is Varani, Flint, Bartolotta and Rosario, with Leonard Cherry following closely, maybe Zachary Beaton getting close, and you can see Zoltan Zomotor here, not in a Metallica car livery, but in his old livery when he was teamless. Expecting an update in the paint pack, especially because there are some new drivers and I really want to see their style choices, because, you know, having a good livery is very good for having good press from us, so, you know, it's a very important first step.
Yeah, good livery equals more camera time for us, and yeah, just very pretty things to look at. Zoltan, as Andy, almost says Zoltan Zolman right there. Andy Flint looks down to the inside, and it's a massive send by him. And right on Luca Verani. Andy Flint back into 5th place. We have 11 laps to go. Closing in on 10 laps to go. TT Marto is 3/4 away through this lap, so I could say 10 laps to go now.
Austin, this is, I think, it's something interesting about this track is that, of course, when you get close to drivers that are similar to you in terms of pace,
you can't get away.
You can't get away, exactly, especially because of the long straights, because here we have the inner loop and a lot of high-speed section, and the fact that these cars can follow somewhat easily, even in the draft. You know, they have downforce, they have quite a bit of downforce, but it's not like massive downforce that gets destroyed whilst following another car. So expect this fight to go on for quite a bit of time between Flint, Varani, and of course I'm waiting for Bartolotta, Rosario, Cherry, maybe Bison to join in the fun.
You know, these cars are pretty much act like the Radicals act now with their draft. They do present a draft, but it is a very small draft. It's a little bit more powerful than the Radicals because of the car's lightness and the small profile, but the amount of downforce that they produce in the front and the rear does give them a big opportunity for a draft. Here comes Luca right on that gearbox. Luca's looking low. Luca's looking on the inside. Luca is sending it. Luca back into 5th place, and I feel like they've got a little gentleman's agreement right now. You pass here, I'll pass there, and off at the back is Rosario, and that is a wheel off, and that's the race for Sonny Rosario.
I'm afraid that was a massive shunt for Sonny. Let's see the replay. The Canadian having a good race in the fight for the top 5. The chicane strikes again.
Yeah.
The inner loop. Oh,
Oh.
ouch. Ouch. Ouch.
That is a massive hit. Reminds me of a certain USF 2000 crash.
Right, our leader. Update on his lap times, and as you can see, he's been gaining steadily on Lucas now, the new second place. Let's see if Lucas can hold on to second place, because everyone that goes into second seems to be destined for bad luck. And
you know,
actually,
I'm gonna challenge you right there. I feel like Philip Lucas, he knows what he needs to do right here. He's got a good gap behind him. Marto is very ahead in front of him. He's got a good gap behind him. He's got time behind him, and there are a few lap cars around him. So he really shouldn't be that challenged to find some speed and be just safe. So I feel like Lucas is going to be safe here and will finish the second place.
again,
And now that that curse has been planted, I shall find a bunker.
keep swapping positions there between Varani and Fleet. Bartolotta gaining and losing, then gaining, then losing again. But he's, I think, inevitably closing the gap. The time
He is
delta
closing in on him.
shows that he's mostly closing it. But of course,
It's actually,
I mean,
it's staying around an average of 1 second behind them. So he is being affected by that dirty air. But with them swapping, it's really hard to judge on how close he is getting. And ooh, that was a little spicy there from Kirkwood, who went down to the inside. Wolf wanted to go down there with him, and he had to check up mid-corner at the apex of the S's. Well, the bus stop chicane, not the S's. The S's are turn 2. I don't know what I'm talking about now.
I think we have another massive wreck for poor Max Müller, who came back on the track after his earlier shunt coming out of turn 1, and I'm afraid at the carousel.
Oh, no!
And this will be game over. One fast repair, you don't get a second, and those repairs will take possibly all day.
Here's Luca Varani on the gearbox of Andy Flint. Looking around the outside now, but, you know, as their agreement, I feel like they're not going to fight this that much. Andy Flint on the inside, Varani on the outside. Andy Flint not going to fight this, but he's not going to make it. He's not going to make it very easy to allow Bartolotta right there. But Bartolotta is on them right now.
Yeah, and if they are trying to catch Milne with his swap drafting, it is not working right now. As you can see, the gains when they are there are minimal. They are promptly erased the next lap when they swap around. So Bartolotta, you're absolutely right, Austin, is there, and he's there, you know, at the very least he wants to finish the race in the top 5. He knows he had the chance to finish on the podium. He was on the podium, and of course, you know, some Italian on Italian crime, unfortunately, at the bus stop to max out of the running for said podium, and then a few laps later is the other part in that mystery, in that drama, I would say, not mystery. Vincenzo Morrone also lost the car in turn 1, as we have a lapped car.
Yeah, lapped car just sit on the inside right there. As Luca Varani and Andy Flint and Max Bartolotta. I wonder on how they're battling with each other is going to change with Max right there. Luca's got a good gap to Andy right there, so Andy might have made a mistake. And here, I don't think Andy can catch Luca on this straight. This will be the first time that Luca's kept 5th place in the last 5 laps, I believe, since they've started this.
Shoulder cam for Max Bartolotta. The THRD logo well displayed. Tire Norvat race design, Italian painter, was I mean, almost every paint for every relevant Italian team in sim racing, at least here on iRacing. A very talented talented painter. If you see a car of an Italian team, you probably see his logo on that car. It means that, of course, he did the design, and I mean, this Scuderia Squadra Corsa 3D Rap livery is absolutely beautiful, as Bartolotta goes for a bit of lawn mowing there. By the way, I'm not a paid spokesperson for THRD. I just happen to do a bit of Italian work on the side, and his, you know, his logo is on a lot of cars, and all of them are absolutely beautiful. I wish I was a paid spokesperson, you know.
You know, if we were allowed to drop our own paid spokesperson things, this entire broadcast would just be riddled like an NBC broadcast. But luckily for you, we don't do that. Except for our wonderful sponsors over at Virtual Racing School. Virtual Racing School is the proud presenter of the iGPFun series with some of the best data packs available on the entire iRacing service. Go to Virtual Racing School to find out more information on how to improve your skills with setups, driver coaching, and hot lap tips for all iRacing cars. They got a lot of data packs there, and another good thing about Virtual Racing School, Apex Racing Academy is integrated with Virtual Racing School. Apex Racing Academy is another version of, is just like Virtual Racing School, but it's more personalized and better. And you get more driver coaching and opportunities to talk with the community, as well as access to their exclusive Discord. And I gotta say, those Academy paints look absolutely fine. And all those drivers that teach those Apex Racing Academy courses are Apex Racing team members, so you know that they are the best of the best.
5 laps left in his race. Marteau has just started his 24th lap. Gap is almost 13 seconds right now, as we keep looking at this fight here between Barani, Flint and Bartolotta. 5th, 6th and 7th. Another fight we have here is between Joseph Givens and Adam Thalman. Joseph, I think, was racing last night in the Academy Series. And Dennis Wolf, another of the new names, is fighting with another new name as well, which is Roberto Martorana. And an old name, Russell Kirkwood, which had a couple of issues during the race, if I'm not mistaken, but still holding on in the top 20. By the way, Piagnonchek is out, so is Petty, so is Daniel Felipe de Souza, so is Marc Matisse, so is Vincenzo Morrone and Max Müller, the last of the running cars in 31st. A lap down is number 51, Patrick Rowlands, who's racing, of course, from down under, from New Zealand, in fact. And I absolutely commend him, because it is quite early there.
It really is early for him, and you know, that just shows the passion that these people have for racing. They will wake up at times that seem ridiculous to a normal person to go race with their friends around the world, and that's the magic of sim racing. You really get you really get an opportunity to see on where everyone's from and how everyone operates around the world, and who around the world is really passionate about their love for racing. And that's the cool thing about this series. We got people from all corners of life here. We got people in North America racing, people over in Europe, well, mainly people in Europe, as this is a European-based series. We've had people from the Middle East race here, Eastern Europe, Japan, drivers as well, and over in Australia and New Zealand racing there, as we were talking just about those drivers over there as well. And I believe we've had a few yeah, we do have a South American driver here, Daniel Felipe de Souza, from down there. So yeah, all 4 corners of the world being touched by this series.
I'm expecting, of course, the return of Luciano Lorenzo and Valdemar Cadella in the next few races, 2 of the mainstays in the championship, as Bartolotta was on the inside as they enter the boot section, and I think we look to complete the pass, but Andy Flint doesn't agree.
Ooh.
Look at
Well,
the run.
Front's got a good look.
You can use the bank in there, Austin, no? On the outside. Oh, and
Oh,
Ito-san!
absolutely.
What happened to Ito-san? He disappeared all of a sudden. Oh no.
Ito-san's in the pits. I'm not liking the look of this for him heading into the S's. Are we heading into the bus stop chicane? Are we going to see a giant curve? Oh no!
Oh, the hardware failure.
Yeah, that's just
He went straight on.
Did he hit a bump too hard and just shut it off?
I saw no movement from his steering, like if it was, you know. Look at this, like he makes no effort to correct.
Yeah, I've seen
Ah no. No. Made a mistake. You are right, Austin. You see, always trust the former driver.
he hit a bump and they really took the car and he tried to make a mistake, but I've hit a bump before. My wheel just completely got ripped off the desk, especially if you're using a desk mounted wheel with a lot of force feedback on there. Bad mistake by me. And because this wheel has been ripped off my desk a few times.
My wheel never, only once, but because I took it out to do some cleaning, I put it back in and I basically forgot to give it a proper, use the mount to secure it to the desk, no? So I gave it a couple of turns and then I left it there and then said, we finish it later. Then later never happened. Went into a race, did 2 corners and the wheel was in my hands, which is less than ideal, of course.
A very less than ideal situation, but always a very funny situation, especially when you're just like leading a race in Donington and you hit that one corner and next thing you know the wheels goes and you start trying to turn a wheel that's facing 90 degrees away from you. It's a very unfortunate situation, but it's also massively hilarious, and you just find that stuff hilarious. So Andy Flint going all the way out into that runoff, and that runoff is completely legal here. I know iRacing implemented a new off-track system at certain tracks. Watkins Glen has probably the most lenient off-track system ever. And now, listen me out. Hear me out on this. Grass. Touch the grass, it's an off-track. All right. End of job. You can go all on that run-out area, and if you touch the grass, it is a off-track. If you go wide here, it's also an off-track. But yeah, you can go all the way deep as you want into turn 1. As long as you get back onto the track before the grass, it will not count as an off-track or cut course penalty. So that's why you're seeing most of our drivers try that option right here.
I think Marteau is about to get the white flag, Austin.
He is, as they're lap 27 out of 28. White flag is being held by Barney, as you see him flagging it right there, waving it right there, and white flag for QT Marteau, 12 seconds in the lead.
He has just one more tour, certainly I would say relaxing drive out there tonight, especially compared to last night in the Academy Series, where he had to, fight in both races until the last lap today, and ended up short, by the way, in both races. Came up short, but not tonight. Tonight it has been complete and utter domination from pole position. He has led every lap, and does he have the fastest lap of the race?
I believe he does
Beating
not.
Morrone has
Stuart
the
Millen.
fastest lap.
Oh, yeah,
Morrone has the fastest lap. Well, it's not him,
You have the
unfortunately. Yeah,
It's not him. He could try to get it. He does have a car in front of him, but at this late in the race, he got a 12-second gap. I wouldn't really go for a fast lap, but hey, if you want to go for that Grand Slam, it's certainly in your hands if you want to try to go for it. Marteau coming out of the boot for one last time. 2 corners left for the Team Suzu driver. One more corner for QT, and he's done it. He started season 3 off with a bang. Race 1 goes to QT Marteau, leading every lap of the race. And what a drive he had here today. Philip Lucas, I told you he would finish in second place. And Alex Fournier finishing a debut race on the podium. And that is how you start a drive in the series. Stuart Millen at 4th and Luca Ferrari finishing out your top 5 here at the Glen.
And waiting for Flint, here comes Cherry, Zachary Bison, Zoltan Zomotor will round up the race. Look at Barney, such a
enthusiastic waiver.
Yeah. Finishes in front of Joseph Givens. Good 11th place for him.
If there was any Olympics for flag waving, Barney would definitely get gold.
Man, I am terrible at flag waving. It's especially when
Aren't you a track marshal in real life?
Yeah, well, flag waving is a difficult proposition, especially when it's windy. And the worst thing is when you have to wave the double yellow flags. You need a drummer's worth coordination, you know? Most of the times I end up looking like a complete buffoon, trying to get both of the flags to have the same, you know, tempo, you know? It's embarrassing.
I need to give you some drumming lessons.
And we're just waiting for a couple of drivers to finish their run, but it was a fantastic debut race for the new season of iGPFun. As Austin was saying, next week we will be heading for the beautiful streets of Long Beach for the second race of the season. So from the northeast to the southwest of the United States. Quite a virtual trip for these drivers, which is of course changing. But section.
Hey, you know, they're going to really enjoy that drive as they're going to be getting their kicks on Route 66, I must say.
And here we have the results as Marteau gives us a couple of donuts there. QT Marteau wins the race in front of Philippe Lucas and Alex Fournier. Stuart Mill in 4th and Luca Varani in the top 5 in his return to the full-time series. Max Bartolotta finishes 6th in front of Andy Flint, Leonard Cherry, Zachary Bison and Zoltan Zomotor in 10th. Joseph Givens finishes in 11th from the USA in front of the Canadian Adam Talisman, Phil Waller, and the new driver in the series Robert Ridgway is in 14th. Nick Carty and Will McIntyre in front of newcomer Roberto Martorana, and Antonio Telles in 18th place. Then scrolling down the list, we have another new driver, Konstantin Malishev in 19th, and in 20th place it's Ben White. Dennis Wolf, another new driver, in 21st in front of Sonny Rosario and Alex Hopkins. Andrea Bracchetti, Ito-san, of course, that crash took him out of the running, in front of Massimo De Laurentiis, Russell Kirkwood and Patrick Rowlands. 29th was Martin Devine and 30th was another new driver, Frederick Larsen. Then Reed Dennis, Max Muller had a very, very tough race. Vincenzo Morrone, one of the drivers who quite literally threw away a possible podium finish in front of Mark Matisse, Daniel Souza, Gavin Petty, and last but not least, certainly number 1 in our hearts, Przemysław Pieniążek. Unfortunately, he started the season on the wrong foot, retiring after only 7 laps. Austin, Watkins Glen was fantastic, such a classic track. The drivers will be in for a completely different challenge in 7 days at Long Beach.
Yeah, Long Beach is a bumpy, tight, and technical track. If there's a Monaco in America, it would be Long Beach. They got that tricky Sector 1. They got the wide open Sector 2s, the tight and bumpy 90-degree corners. It's going to be an absolute show here next week on Apex Racing TV. Home of probably the most F3 racing out of all the broadcasts. On Saturday, we got the Apex Racing Academy Formula 3 series which is pretty much a feeder series for this. It's a shorter field. We got heat races. It's just like an actual F3 sprint. It's like an actual F3 weekend. We got the sprint races on Saturday, and then we got the feature race on Sunday with the Apex Racing Academy and iGPFun on the Sunday after. Thank you everyone for joining us for round 1 of season 3 of the 2021 year for iGPFun Formula 3 series presented by Virtual Racing School. I've been joined by Marco Barbonera. I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a good night.